And we are back again. I have another group of people to talk about some TV shows with. This is Caleb Rutherford, and joining me is Plan C, Christina Voikin. Hello, Christina.
Hello, Caleb.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Also joining us is friend of the show, Josh Gilmore, who I think he's probably going to be talking about Gilmore Girls, maybe. We'll see. Hi, Josh.
Thanks for inviting me. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, good to have you on the show. Nice to have a star of an actual TV show.
I will hang up. I will hang up.
You know, interesting thing, Gilmore Girls, they actually have, they did this, it's over now by the time this is recording, but they opened up all these Luke's Coffee Shop, whatever they called on the TV show. They took like existing coffee bars all over the country, and they transformed them into Luke's Diner or whatever it was called, and they're giving like so many people free cups of coffee and other stuff. So it's like a Netflix doing their own type of marketing for that show.
That's cool.
So it's kind of interesting. I don't care anything about Gilmore Girls. I know my wife has already told me that she's going to be away watching it with her sister when they come out Black Friday weekend. So anyway, that's coming up later in the year, and Josh will mention it in a little bit. But we'll start off this week.
I will
with,
not.
a show that I have watched quite often. I haven't watched every season of the show, but it's Hell's Kitchen. Now, Gordon Ramsay, who's well known for his F-bombs, they always are bleeped out on American TV, not so much on British TV, where he started. He's a great chef who has become a TV personality. He has restaurants all over the world. He's helped restaurants all over the world in various shows, and he's found great cooking talent to fill various restaurants, his own and for other people as well. In the U.S., he's pretty much only been on Fox, where he has, one of the shows he's done for them is Hell's Kitchen. Usually it'll air 1 to 2 seasons, or one to two seasons per year. Currently I'm on the last episode of last season. I haven't had a chance to finish it yet to see who's the winner of last season. Usually whoever I cheer for never wins on these shows. But it's an interesting show. There's lots of drama, and definitely I think that they keep people on there who are just causing problems and not necessarily good cooks at times, especially this last season. There was one in particular. Christina, I know you like cooking shows. Is this a show that you enjoy?
I just don't like him.
You just don't like Gordon Ramsay, okay.
No, I don't.
Now, you don't like his character that he kind of plays on TV? Have you ever met him in person?
I don't like his TV presence. Maybe it's that.
Yeah. I really think that he is a really nice guy. I mean, he seems like he's a really nice guy, except, I don't, I say that I don't want to cook for him. So
yeah,
I don't want to be called you donkey or whatever he wants to call people. There's all sorts of things he said, especially on Hell's Kitchen. But if you look at some of his other shows he's done on Fox, like MasterChef, which I'll mention MasterChef based off another show later. But MasterChef is a show he does with 2 other people in the industry from around the world that are pretty well known, and they've done shows with adults, and these are just like normal people who are trying to become get their own cookbook and win money and that sort of thing by becoming Master Chef here in the U.S. And, he's done it with kids as well. So, I mean, he's actually worked with children. And, he's a totally different person outside of Hell's Kitchen. So I really think that Hell's Kitchen person, that persona is definitely not who he actually is. But I can understand not liking that person. I would find him very scary. I would definitely find him very scary. But I really do think that he cares about these people. It's just, I don't know that for sure, but it's just how I think he does actually care for them.
He probably does. He just comes off as a huge, mean jerk.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's what you need sometimes to get motivated.
Definitely. This season on Hell's Kitchen, there are 18 different chefs that will be competing for a head chef position somewhere in Las Vegas, and $250,000. That's always the prize that they give. So it's a good show. Josh, are you into the cooking shows at all?
I used to be really big into the cooking shows. Back in junior college, I watched a lot of Top Chef.
Okay.
I really
we're going to talk about that a little bit later too.
My roommate and I really enjoyed the season that had Marcel. Some of you may know exactly who that character is because he was very very animated and could get angry very easily and stuff like that. Which, side note, he actually had a news show that he came out with like a year or two later, which was he would do science projects with food. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but he would do like these big catering parties and then have like these weird scientific ways of cooking things.
Okay.
And then that would be like his gimmick, for the show.
He was actually in the second season of Top Chef. He was the runner-up.
Yeah. It didn't really work out for him on that show.
Was that Marcel's Quantum Kitchen?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
There was a lot of problems there, but anyways, yeah, I used to watch that. I watched a lot of like the baking competition shows. Back when we had cable, we liked the Cake Wars or
yeah. Yeah.
So, but a lot of that stuff, newsflash, is scripted, so we kind of stopped watching because it wasn't entertaining anymore. Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, you can debate how scripted things are. I mean, I think genuinely there is a competition going on. There's probably only a handful of people that can actually win it, and they have people in there just to cause drama.
Well, yeah, because drama equals ratings.
Think about ABC used to do this show called The Mole, and it became like a celebrity thing later on. But when it first came out, it was there was it was just all these people that no one knew, and there was actually someone trying to disrupt the competition, and they would benefit from it financially by doing that. And people had to try to figure out who the mole was, and there was like hints in the show and stuff. But I definitely think there are people planted for some of these shows. But things like we could talk about another reality TV show that I used to watch, Survivor. I don't really watch that anymore, but Amazing Race. We love Amazing Race. I definitely think there could be some people planted on that show, but these people actually have to finish ahead of other people. I don't really think that that's scripted.
No, that's not scripted. I mean, there are some things where they'll say like, is for like specifically the Amazing Race. You two just did something. Hey, go back and do it again. Kind of like that stuff. Oh, hold on, we gotta stop. Let's try that again. As long as that doesn't like affect it too much, but I do agree. It's something like that. Something like the Amazing Race. I highly doubt there is that drama factor where they're just keeping people on for the drama, because it is a more advanced competition where there is
there's an actual race going on. I don't know how they do it. I don't. They would have to be lots of people involved in.
So I watched the most recent one, which was the social media themed.
Oh yeah,
where they had a bunch of influenced people in the social media.
Better than the dating one, that's for sure.
And I really enjoyed it because I listened to one of the podcasts, which is Rooster Teeth. They're a gaming company outside of Austin. They are known for Red versus Blue, the internet web series. But so two of the people that are on that from that company were on that show, and so I was listening to and watching them race, and just listening to them talk about their experience on the podcast that definitely filled me in as far as like what exactly was going on with them and how things were going. So
they have just finished wrapping the next season of Amazing Race, which will be actually season 29. Now, it's a little misleading because they sometimes air more than one season a year. But season 29 of Amazing Race is done. It wrapped up this summer. And CBS hasn't announced when it's going to actually air. They don't know if it's going to be fall or if it's going to be winter or if it's going to be next year. So, that's fun stuff with reality TV. Now, kind of a different direction, a totally different genre of TV, Christina. Now, you are a fan of Once Upon a Time.
I am. I love fairy tales.
So, this show is now entering its 6th season. I have to say, this is a show that I have watched. I don't know why it fell off my radar. I'm trying to think what season. Is the whole season when you had, I've forgotten the characters' names. The Evil Queen, which I can't remember her character's name on the show. Regina, yes, thank you. When Regina and her mother, when her mother was introduced that season.
I love her mother. Oh my god.
I don't know if her mother's still on the show now.
She's such an evil biddy.
But when Regina was trying to turn good, and eventually she kind of went back to become evil again.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. That's the season that I quit watching. I never finished that season. I don't know if that was 2 or 3. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's 3, but I'm not sure.
But you've continued to watch this show and you like it?
I do. I like seeing how they're going to incorporate, other fairy tales. And this last one, they brought in Heckle or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and
because they brought Frozen, didn't they?
Yes, they did. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird that they brought Frozen, but I mean it's popular. But so is this show? Is it able to continue to integrate new people and come up with stories for these old people still there to make it interesting, or has it kind of lost its way a little bit?
No, I think if they keep introducing new characters and new plot points, then yeah. I mean, it can get a little stale if you don't care for, the fairy tale or Emma's this way, Regina's this way, and all the drama. I'm the savior and all this, and now I'm the dark one, and now I've got to do this all on my own, which starts the whole thing over again. So, but it's a fairy tale. Yeah. Can't all be Cinderella and Snow White.
Well, they even have some baggage too, especially on the show.
Yes, and she was pregnant this last season, and they tried to hide it as well as they could, but you could tell by the clothes she wore.
Which character are we talking about? The Snow White?
Snow White, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that these people are actors who are in real life, and people in real life have babies and other things, and shows can't stop just because that's going on. But I'm guessing the character on the show wasn't pregnant. Just she was.
No, not this time. The first time she was, they incorporated that in with Emma being born, but this one they're not. But I do know Rapunzel is supposed to be appearing next season.
Okay, so they've already talked about like season 7 after this.
Oh no, for season 6 because they pushed it back because of pregnancy. So it's actually been pushed back to March, I believe.
Oh, is it not even coming out this fall? Season 6?
I don't think so. I thought it said it was pushed back till next year because of people being pregnant, but I could be wrong.
Okay, because it showed that it debuted in September.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of number 7.
Okay. Yeah, so they may have pushed back the timing of filming the next season, but all right. Well, it's a show that I will definitely have to try to catch up on. There's so many shows I need to catch up on. But it looks like they're planning on doing They only are listing 9 episodes this season so far. So I don't know if this is going to be a full season or if they're doing a half season or what exactly they're doing with this. Josh, you and your wife, have you watched Once Upon a Time?
I think we stopped. We watched it. We watched the first season. It might have been the second season where we stopped, and I don't know if it was because we were just kind of bored of it, or if it was a moving situation. Because there's been a lot of shows that we were watching before, and I know we stopped watching because we moved and we weren't, we didn't have the DVR recorder recording that stuff. So we started falling behind, and it was just like, there's no point anymore kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure which one it was for that, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was a really neat concept.
It's a really interesting concept for sure. Yes.
I kind of fell out of it after a while, I think.
All I have to say is that if I was Emma, I would leave Storybrooke and go back to the magical land of fairy tales. Why stay in this world? Let's go to that one.
I think one of the things that drew me out of it was how they carried the kid is going crazy too long. Like, nobody believes the kid. And I think that's kind of what drew me out of it so much. It was just like, all right, like every time the kid talks, everybody's like, whatever, we don't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
but that's how, if you look at, that's how adults are. You're just making this up. Magic's not real. You're just, because that's
maybe
adults
they
do.
Just, that's just something we've told over and over and over again over, different movies and TV shows to the point where I was tired of it. I don't know, but it's a good show. I definitely was turned off when I heard they brought in Once Upon a Time or Frozen. I was like, yeah, no, I don't know if I.
They took it a different route, so it was an accident that Elsa was brought in.
Okay.
Well, interesting.
Believe me, Rumpelstiltskin's got his fingers in a lot of cookie jars.
Oh my god, that character!
That character's amazing.
I love him.
That character. There are a lot of good actors on that show, but man, he's so good. Really is. But let's move on to another show. This is a new show this year. It's on HBO. Josh, have you had a chance to watch any Westworld?
Man, honestly, I have not. Excuse me. I wanted to do it last night, but I got home late. So I was like, and I was really tired and I fell asleep. So, no, I did not get to. But I am so excited for this show.
What is about the show makes you excited?
Well, I love J.J. Abrams, and the fact that he's helped producing this is awesome.
Talking about someone who has their hands in a lot of cookie jars.
True.
That's J.J. Abrams right there.
The concept of it, it excites me that, there's this utopia-style world that, or theme park have you, that, you have created, and, for a certain amount of money or however you get into it, you can go and you can just live in another world, and then somehow that world just starts turning into a dystopia and starts, crumbling. And so it's really exciting. I love HBO. My only concern, though, is, or at least just for myself, I think the show's going to be great. I don't know if I want to, and I was partly thinking about this today. I don't know if I want to watch it week to week, or maybe wait a couple weeks and binge on a couple episodes, and then, and kind of do it that way. Because I feel like once I watch this first episode, I'm going to want to watch more, and that's going to force me to wait.
Right.
And it's, I guess we've been so conditioned to having weekly episodes, but I think more so now is that we're in the binging area where it's like that's all I really want to do is I just want to sit and binge. And if it's worth waiting, then yeah, I might do it. But I don't know. I'll definitely probably watch this first episode and then get annoyed because I want to watch more. But yeah. Plus, it's got a lot of great actors in it. Like I'm totally excited for this. I'm hoping this will be the new Game of Thrones since that should be ending, within the next couple of years or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's hard to say what will take off like that, but I know this show, has a lot of inspiration from video games. Some of those include BioShock, Red Dead Redemption, and Skyrim.
Yep.
It's kind of cool that those are some different themes going on in all those games. Those are 3 pretty good games.
Well, and I mean, in this, I don't know the whole, storyline of it, but I mean, it seems like, and I'm sure they've talked about this and maybe even already have it planned, but I mean, it's this kind of scenario seems like you can spin this off into any fantasy you want. They can go to a Game of Thrones type era. They can, go to the Japanese samurais or whatever. They can hit any genre they want with this. So be interesting to see if they incorporate or talk about other ones in the show,
right.
Or if it turns into like mini series with kind of like American Horror Story, which I know we're talking about later, but
right,
kind of like that, where it's like it's the same story but told in different skins, basically.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the show turns out, how it's received, and if it's the next big hit.
I'm sorry, HBO. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it. He has not done a movie that I've seen that has been terrible. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very good show.
Even Square Enix used to only make great games, started making duds. So it can happen. Anyway, another show that is coming back for its second season is one, I don't know if you've seen it, Josh, but Christina and me have watched it, at least the first season, Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Christina, what is it about this show that you like?
Bruce Campbell and his B-rated silliness.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell is...
his B-movie silliness, I mean.
Yeah. Actually, I was at... I don't remember what E3 it was, but they were doing an Evil Dead game. THQ was, which is an old video game company that fell to pieces, and pieces were sold off for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, they've done a lot of good things. They actually made an Evil Dead game, and I was at the booth, inside their VIP area with seeing stuff, talking to developers and stuff. Bruce Campbell was there. I got to meet him one year. It was awesome because he's awesome. He's done so many great things. I mean, he's done a lot of bad stuff too, but he's done a lot of great things. This Ash versus the Evil Dead is just, this is kind of the role we want him in.
Yes.
we want him as this character. And it's
yes, chainsaw wielding maniac. It's just like groovy.
Yeah, the first episode of the first season. That's going back to last year, but Sam Raimi actually directed that first episode, and it was one that was it seemed more like a movie. It was like a mini movie. It was because their whole series is like 30-minute episodes, and the first episode was 45 minutes long. So it was more than double what their episodes normally run, and it was so good. I think that first episode was probably my favorite. But I mean, they all had their own charm to them. Some were better than others, but they never really, they started picking up more viewers towards the end of the season. But that first episode had pretty much most viewers that whole season. Is there a specific character or a specific episode or anything that stood out to you in that first season?
My favorite character, and I can't even think of his name, is the guy that also worked at the mart with him, the store. Oh, who is he? Because he's just like the plucky comedic sidekick.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Pablo.
Yes, I like. He is so funny. I like his character a lot.
Yeah, and then you have Kelly also. And then you, of course, you had
She's a
this.
good one too.
Yeah, and then you had this other set of side characters in the first season with the Xena Warrior Princess was even there.
What?
Yeah, and I really wish her role would have been bigger.
She had a terrible role.
Yeah, I like her as an actress, and I loved Xena.
Did she do her chant?
No, that no, that's
she's not actually. She's not actually Xena, but that's what she's known for.
Man, I used to watch that and Hercules all the time. That was like the show to come home to after school.
Lucy Lawless will always be known as Xena. I mean, she even had like that cameo in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she like dies at the first episode she's in.
Oh, I know. I was so mad about that.
It's like, this would have been great for her, but anyway, I don't know what they were thinking on that. I guess Ghost Rider's now better. But that's another subject for another part of the podcast. But yeah, Josh, is this show on your radar, or have you watched it?
We have season 1, so we haven't watched it yet. We've got a bunch of shows that we're kind of in the middle of, so we're wanting to kind of find a good spot for that and then watch it.
You know, this is a show that you can watch. You can watch the show really quick because instead of it being an hour show, it's a 30-minute show.
Right. No, and I honestly, Sam Raimi is one of my favorite horror directors. It's kind of like J.J. Abrams. Like, and most directors have their one niche that they love so much, and they incorporate it into everything. The fact that Sam Raimi puts that car into every movie he makes is, I mean, I love that guy. Like,
you will love the first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's hard to top the first episode. You'll love the whole series, but you're really
I'm gonna love the whole series. I mean, the Evil Dead series was by far one of my favorite series as a kid growing up. And Bruce Campbell is awesome. Like, if you haven't seen Bubba Hotep either, I highly suggest watching that movie as well.
Yeah, I think I watched it. I don't think I liked it.
Great.
I don't think I liked it. But anyway.
You don't like a lot of things.
It's true. I don't. I hate everything. But a show that I don't know if I like or hate is the next show we're going to talk about, which is also it's an HBO show. We're talking about a lot of cable shows here, but Ballers. What can you tell me about that, Josh?
Well, I just want to make a side note. I mean, you're saying cable shows, but I mean, I think now more prominent HBO is now a streaming network, which is pretty neat. I mean, you can single out if we don't have cable and we're paying for it, and I don't know, it's like what, $15 a month maybe?
Yeah, it's like double the price of Netflix.
Sure, but I mean, Ballers. If you have seen Entourage and you liked that kind of a show, and you like NFL, and you like a lot of you want to kind of get the behind the scenes aspect of the players and how they get involved with their, getting to the teams and stuff like that, I highly recommend it. It is very adult themed, but it is great. Dwayne Johnson it's definitely a character I like to see. I like to see him in because, he gets he gets typecast a lot, and this is definitely something outside of his typecast, and I mean, it's great. It's a really neat way of looking into the NFL and how the players, interact outside the NFL and how they're, being moved around.
Now, is this a show where is he on the show almost every week? Every week?
Yeah, he's like the main character.
Okay, that shows you how little I know about this because HBO shows normally aren't on my radar.
Basically, what Ballers is it follows these two guys that are I can't remember their exact title. They basically handle all the NFL or certain NFL players' financials, and there's a lot of drama and who so and so is gonna he's a free agent and we really need him to straighten up and you're gonna have this interview so we're gonna need you to go over these things and try to boost your image so that so and so team wants to hire you for $33 million for 10 years, 15 of it guaranteed or whatever, all the financial blah blah blah, that we as viewers who watch football don't really pay attention to as closely. But I mean, it's a great storyline. It has a lot of drama in it. There's a lot of suspense as far as what's going to happen. They like to do a lot of snap moments towards the end of the show, and then credits roll, and you're like, oh no, now I gotta wait till next week to figure out what is going to happen. So it's really good.
Okay.
And if you've seen Entourage, then you'll definitely enjoy this because, like I said, it's basically Entourage was the more actor movie side of that kind of industry where they're trying to get him into movies and taking care of his financials that way. There's a lot of drama there, whereas this is the NFL version of it. So pretty good.
Awesome. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. I know I've missed the boat on that completely. But, a show you mentioned earlier that I have enjoyed, and I may have not gotten into it as early as you did, but it's Top Chef. This show is, they're going into their 14th season now, and they've started, they just were kind of a cooking show every year, and now they've started doing a lot of themes. And this year they're... let's see. This year they're in North Carolina, I think. But this is like the serious cooking show where Hell's Kitchen can kind of not be taken as seriously, mainly because of the character of Gordon Ramsay. This is a more. It's actually South Carolina, but this is more of the serious cooking show where these people who win this they go on to do a lot of good things. Richard Blaze, he won season 8. He actually is one of the judges now. He's on a rotating panel of judges that come on, and it's kind of interesting to see him come back to the show. And they've done some Top Chef All Stars, and see some of the people that maybe didn't have a chance to win that have a second chance. So it's a really, really good show. You mentioned you watched it before, Josh. Is it something that's on your radar now?
No. I mean, I don't have cable. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if they're
It's on Bravo.
Oh yeah. See, I mean, we don't have access to that. I mean,
they're very streaming unfriendly too.
I stopped watching pretty much after junior college because, that was just kind of the things that, the roommates and I would do. We'd just sit and watch shows because there wasn't where we lived our junior college was in a small town. So if we wanted to go and do anything, we had to go 45 minutes away. And so it was like, all right, well, let's watch the garbage that's on TV. And that's pretty much all we did.
Some of the rotating panel of judges, they kind of have, a kind of a rotation that comes on there. But Richard Blaze is in that rotation. Also this season, Graham Elliott is going to be on that rotation. And that's where they kind of have this extra person that they kind of rotate them in and out. if you're not familiar with Graham Elliott, he was on with Gordon Ramsay on Top Chef, or not Top Chef, Master Chef.
Okay.
And so he had been on that show, and he left that show. He was a really big guy, and he lost a lot of weight, and talked about it a lot. But it's going to be interesting to see him now in this dynamic. I know I wasn't really a big fan of Master Chef. My wife loves that show. Where I watch Hell's Kitchens and she watches Master Chef. So she sees one side of Gordon Ramsay, and I see the other side, the character side. But it'd be interesting to see his dynamic on Top Chef. They've had people like Wolfgang Puck be a rotating judge before. They had Emeril, Anthony Bourdain. They've had a lot of really, really influential people on this judging panel. Christina, I know you like the cooking shows a lot. Do you watch Top Chef?
No, I stick mostly to what's on Food Network.
I don't
even know if I get Bravo.
Yeah, you check and see if you get Bravo, because if it's something you do get, this is such an amazing show. It's one of the I probably would say it's like the best cooking show on TV. This is where I would go with it. They take it very seriously. It's an art, and I just really recommend it. So,
okay,
look it up if you have a chance to. I don't really know as far as old season streaming if those are available anywhere, but they're all the seasons I've seen, at least the last 6 or 7 years, have been really good, and I don't know how well the original seasons held up to that, but. Now, Josh, you and this is it hasn't had an official air date, but Top Chef, they're gonna start it sometime in November or December. They haven't set an exact date, but that's historically when they always start airing Top Chef, and it goes into next year. Josh, a lot of Marvel stuff has been online streaming, and you've had a chance to look at some of that, and I know you want to give your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I just want to start off by saying I don't know how DC is doing as far as their TV shows go, but if they're not doing what Marvel is doing, then they're doing it wrong. The 3 shows that so far Netflix has come out with Marvel is started off with Daredevil, and then it went to Jessica Jones, and now it's Luke Cage. All 3 of them are in the same city. They're all it's nice. It's a real gritty kind of a series. All 3 of them are. They're really filmed in a dark theme, which is pretty sweet. But I mean, they are great. If you haven't watched Daredevil or Jessica Jones, I mean, I would try to get that onto that as soon as you can, because who knows how long they will be on Netflix. Because I
would imagine they're going to be on Netflix for a while, but I mean, I guess I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know the rotation schedule for Netflix, but I definitely recommend those. And Luke Cage just recently came out. I'm halfway through it. Man, that show is a lot of fun. It's not as, I would say Daredevil is by far my favorite so far out of the 3, but I haven't finished Luke Cage, and maybe when I finish it, maybe that'll change my mind. But man, they are doing good things, and they're gonna come out with the Iron Fist, I believe, sometime next year. So
they just recently did a teaser and dated that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're not watching Marvel on Netflix, or if you have access to Netflix and you want to binge watch, these are great series to do it, because 1, they put the entire series out. You're not waiting week to week. Netflix is really good about saying, all right, guess what we did for a whole year? We filmed 13 episodes, and you can watch them now. You're not waiting week to week to watch it.
The Gilmore Girls, which I know you're eager to talk about it, but that is one of the shows that the creator, I don't remember the creator's name, but they're very upset with that format. They wanted there to be a time frame between each episode, and Netflix is like, sorry, this is how we do things. And, it's really the new way to do television. I think a lot of shows, like I mentioned it with my talk with Michael and Derek about the Blacklist. The ratings this season versus last season are down over 30%, 30 to 40% from last year's season premiere to this year's season premiere. And a lot of things, the ratings are down. And I think that's because people don't watch TV the same as they used to. They don't want to watch it on a network schedule. They want to watch it on their own schedule. They don't really want to sit. They may not even want to start watching a new show until there's several episodes so they can, feel like they can watch a bunch at a time and not have to wait. Maybe they want to wait till the whole season's done.
I can partially agree with that, and I know we talked about this outside of the cast, but for that example, I also think that an event, I'm not going to say what, but something happened in that series that probably could have turned people off of it. I know I was upset when I saw it because I love the Blacklist. I think James Spader is the best villain on TV today. I haven't seen a better villain probably in a while. Like I just love his character. His character is great. Him as an actor, he's just, man, I wish I watched more of his stuff. And
you mentioned this event. I brought that up because I don't know what that is, and I'm behind in Blacklist, and already something got spoiled for me. And writing in the notes, I was like, really, I wish you would have told me that because I didn't know that. But anyway,
did he spoil the event for you?
No, I don't know if he spoiled the event. It has to do with a certain character's father.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's already spoiling too much, but they're like that was written down like in the notes to talk about it, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, you just ruined like a bunch of the show for me. but anyway, I talked about, is there some sort of event or something that happens that could turn you off, or you could see people turn you off? And he's like, I don't really know what he's talking about. There's lots of stuff that happens in the show, but I don't see anything that would happen that would make anyone mad. They did mention the fact that the show turns from, and I don't know if it's a spoiler, it's already been mentioned already, so mention it here again, that the show kind of turns itself away from its original purpose, being about the Blacklist, to no longer being about the Blacklist.
There's a point in one of the seasons where it does kind of switch gears.
I think that's kind of silly.
But I mean, there's it's a resolution type of thing. There are things that happen that have been resolved, and so now they're moving on. But no, that was he. I'd have to talk to him directly, and
I'm sure
it might not have upset him, or he probably didn't care.
Yeah, it might have been. It'll be interesting to see when I get to that point, because I'll get there eventually. It's one of the shows I'll catch up on next, probably.
It'll definitely be something that you better get to it as soon as you can, so I can talk to you about it, because I hate talking around it like this.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. Yes. So if there's wow, okay, so Marvel stuff to the Blacklist, okay.
I mean, but yeah, if you're not watching Marvel, go and watch Marvel on Netflix. All of the shows are great.
We talked about a lot of DC stuff. I mean, we talked a little Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In that other talk, but yeah.
See, and with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just as a little last thing before we move on, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I watched part of the first season and I lost focus. It is, in comparison from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to those three other shows that I talked about, the filming is totally different.
Well, yeah, it's done for a different style, it's done a different way. But I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of those shows that ABC is so late on renewing every year. It's kind of like, are they actually going to renew it this year? And it's one of those shows where, like, the first season, it took a good 6 to 8 episodes for it to get going.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a joke before that. My wife and me, we started watching it and laughed through most of the episodes. It was so terrible. And I finally decided, I'm going to watch this because I hear it's good. And there are actually guides that said what episodes to skip. There were only like 6 or 7 episodes you needed to watch in the first season to get what was going on. It shows you how much lack of direction there was. But anyway, so I sat through and I watched and enjoyed it. And season 2, was pretty good, but from where season 2 began and where season 2 ended and season 3 picked up, 2 totally different shows. It had changed from what it was originally. And then, I haven't seen last season. I haven't watched most of last season, but it's a show I would say to watch, but it's one of those that you have to stick with. And you're gonna go for a ride in changing the style of show that it is. So,
okay.
So anyway,
I've liked all the seasons.
Are you caught up on it so far?
Yep, I've watched everyone.
Hey, have you started watching this season yet?
No, I'll wait. I'm a binge watcher.
Okay.
It's too hard to get a schedule to watch it, and I have on demand, so I could do it then. But then I'd watch the whole season.
The
anyway,
whole breaks that they do. When they have a TV break, for Christmas, and then they have their breaks in the spring, and then they get ready to do their final push. It gets really difficult when you start getting really into a show, and then it's not on for a month for a new show, and it's like you start watching something else, and then you're like, yeah, I'll get back to that in a little bit, and you've lost interest at that point. So binge watching is kind of the best way to go about watching a TV show. And
it's not like
I don't know how
old days. We have to wait for a rerun.
Yeah, or when you had to program the VCR. I remember as a kid having to, I would be Friday when there used to be Saturday morning cartoons. That dates me.
I miss that.
I do too. I would like get on the TV guide or the TV guide in the newspaper or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd look at all the shows, and they'd be like, it wouldn't give you details. It would be like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm like, oh man, I hope it's this episode about this. And sometimes, it is that episode. All right, I love this one. And you didn't know what it was about, so you had to take a guess. Like, okay, do I want to watch? And you can only record one thing at a time back then. And it's like, what do I pick? Oh man, both of these look pretty good. Which one am I going to pick? And then sometimes the VCR would mess up and wouldn't record, and you just miss out. Oh man, those were the days.
The joys of the past.
I don't know how we lived without the internet. Really don't.
I know.
Somehow we survived. But, maybe society's not better for it, but
I don't think so.
TV is definitely changing though.
Yes.
Another thing, CW, who they do a lot of the DC side of. Josh just talked about the Marvel side, and we talked about this a little bit on the last segment. However, this is going to end up that they are actually their contract with Hulu ended. And they are actually doing their own thing, where they have an app for iOS. They have it for like Chromecast. They have it for the Apple TV. They have it for the Amazon Fire TV and the Fire TV Stick. They are releasing this app, and they're letting you just stream the shows without putting a cable provider in. That's how they're trying to reach people. So it'd be interesting to see if people start following suit on that, or what actually is going to happen. So if you want to get caught up on those DC shows, that's a good way to do it.
Well, I know we're talking about shows, but I think it's the same thing that HBO and Starz did, because with cable rates, it's hard to be able to afford something more than just your basic cable. So if you can sit there and get Starz and HBO for both of them for like $30 a month as opposed to $100 and something, and a whole bunch of channels you don't watch.
Right.
It seems to be able to reach a whole bunch more people than, Time Warner or Comcast thing.
I think it remains to be seen if people are willing to spend, how many people are willing. There are people who are willing to spend like $15 a month to have HBO streaming, but can they reach a critical mass of those people that actually do that? With
how popular Game of Thrones is, and if these other shows that were mentioned that I haven't checked out, if there's that much of a following for those, then yeah.
And it'll be really interesting to see if they're going to spread out their shows over the year to try to keep people subscribing every month instead of just at one time of the year. So
yeah,
be interesting to see. But now another show that I wanted to bring up is, one that I have watched most of them. I haven't seen them all. It's American Horror Story. Now, are either one of you guys, do you watch American Horror Story?
I've thought about watching it, but I have not actually given it a chance.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
Oh man, let's see. I watched the first season, which the ending really was the dumbest ending I
Yeah, happy ending of sorts. I guess
I
happy you can make that ending.
I hated that ending so bad. And then
That was Murder House was the first season, and then the second season was Asylum.
yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it, but
Yeah.
I didn't really follow through.
I liked Asylum. It was good. It remained it. You know, one thing I'll say about the first season is that at least the first couple episodes had this creepy horror factor to it, where they
Sure.
had this like basement area of this house, the murder house, that I don't think. I have not watched the hotel season, which is number 5. I don't think any other season came close to matching that. It was.
I watched bits and pieces of the Carnival season, which was the last one, 4.
Uh-huh.
That one was okay. But I had a hard
Now
time.
that was also the season that had the clown running around too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I stuck through the first season all the way and was upset, and then we tried watching it, and the second season I was just like, you know what? I don't know. I'm
The Coven season was terrible. That was the third
the
season.
witch season. Yeah.
The witch season was. This is one of those shows where you have the cast, a bulk of or at least some of the cast, come back and play new characters.
I mean, they're different stories played by the same actors, but they're different characters. So to me, I think that's a cool concept, but I also think that it might throw a lot of people off. I don't know.
Asylum had this cool thing where they kind of had like flashbacks and flash forwards, and it was interesting to see how those stories came together. I really enjoyed those first 2 seasons, though. Freak Show was definitely better than Coven. I hear Hotel is good. I mean, we know that Lady Gaga joined the cast, and she, won an Emmy Award and a Golden Globe for her performances.
So she was playing herself?
Kathy Bates also won awards as well.
She won an award for playing herself?
Yeah, yep, apparently. I don't want to judge her because I haven't seen that season. I know Kathy Bates did a really good job in Coven. That's where she started on the show.
It was a joke, Caleb. It's fine.
Okay, I mean it's fine. I see your joke, but her performance is apparently supposed to be really good. I don't like her as an artist, so but I'll give her a chance. But anyway, this new season is called Roanoke. It takes place in North Carolina. So we'll see what happens. It's been renewed already for season 7. And beyond that we don't know. But be interested to see how many ideas they have. It's definitely a show that it's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of crazy stuff, alien stuff that they never fully explain or make sense of. It's just kind of there. And it's one of those shows that, you can get some enjoyment out of it, but just be prepared for a strange ride at times. Like, what in the world did I just watch? And then I guess one of the last shows I wanted to talk about with, I guess mainly Josh, since Christina is anti the show, is Game of Thrones. We won't get into books on the show, but it'd make a good discussion. It would make a good discussion. We'll have to do that sometime. We have a much longer show right now, but if we did that. But Josh, I know you have you're not current on Game of Thrones.
I haven't finished the most recent season, but that being said, it's not easy nowadays to avoid information, so I do know a lot that has happened during the season without watching any episodes.
Okay. Are you knowing some stuff that happens? Does that make you less excited to get there, or does it really matter?
I don't think it really matters. The season's really good. The previous season was probably one of the most exciting ones for me because there were certain things that happened to certain characters that I was like, about time. I was like, finally, I got my wish or whatever. It's like I can go on and watch the rest of the season and not pout and be angry because so-and-so is, I can't. The show is good. It really is good. It pulls a lot of strings and it makes me mad sometimes.
Yeah, it's it definitely is a it's one of those shows. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest TV show of all time, but I think it's gonna be up there, especially for this generation. It's gonna be one of those shows best remembered. It's just
definitely. I mean, it's
an event. It makes me wish that these HBO shows would be more than 13 episodes, 10 episodes, or however many they're doing this last 2 seasons they're going to do. I mean, season 7's already slightly delayed. And the timing of when it's coming out will make them not eligible for awards for the next year's awards. But which that's probably good for TV in general because they dominate the awards. But, I wish there were more episodes.
No, I agree.
Because there are shows with like tons of episodes, like 20 to 25 episodes in the season. It's like, man, if Game of Thrones had that, that'd be awesome. But as far as characters on the show, Josh, who can you pick out a couple of your favorite characters? Who do you really connect with? And you can include like season 1 too. I know some of those characters aren't there anymore. You can guess why they're not, but I'm not trying to spoil it for people. But
man,
are there characters that stand out? Or do you just enjoy the whole cast? And that's fine too.
For the most part, I enjoy the whole cast. I would say there are characters that I really don't like. Like a lot of times when I watch shows, there's always 1 or 2 characters where I'm just like, oh, please do something with this character because this character is making me mad. Like, I don't think it spoils much, but Xerxes, I can't stand her. She is a pain, and she's a brat, and, it's one of those times where I'm just like, look, do something because this character is driving me nuts. But
she reminds me of?
Who?
This is like completely like a whole different realm, but she reminds me a lot of how people perceive Stephanie McMahon in WWE.
Sure.
People just because she's historically played this like this rich person who's had everything handed to her on a silver platter, and she just
touch her and.
She is just evil.
Yeah.
She just is evil, and I feel for this actress.
But I will say that
I mean, she's got like the black hair and everything, and she has all these tattoos on her that they have to take off. And
I will say though that the show every once in a while will bring some amazing scene or amazing scenario or some kind of cool twist that I'm just like, oh, and I think by far this is the best show to get people talking because there were so many times where kind of like maybe not as much as say what was that show Breaking Bad did.
Okay,
because I know back in high school or back in high school and college when I was watching Breaking Bad, it was like, and I was in film class, so obviously we were talking about TV shows and movies, but, there was like every day another episode, or, every week another episode. God, man, we'd be so excited. We'd be talking about it. And I feel like Game of Thrones does that times 100. Like, you're just, something will happen, and then you're you're itching to go to bed to wake up to tell somebody because you're just like, oh my God, did you see that? Did you see that? You know, that show does a lot of that very well. And, you know, I give them props for that. And they've done a great job. But I do, since, I mean, I do have HBO. So yes, I do need to finish the series. I'm pretty sure it's on there. So we need to watch it. But there's just some characters that I'm just, I don't know if I really am a fan of them. And then there are some characters that I'm like, all right, I'm kind of rooting for you, but it's just hard to tell from time to time.
I think probably for me, the most standout actor on that show, Peter Dinklage.
Sure.
You know, I'm sure he's a lot of people's favorite, but, you know, it made me, because, you know, I haven't followed his career or anything, but, you know, I really enjoyed his, you know, he had a brief role in the comedy Elf.
Yeah.
And so, you know, because when I started watching Game of Thrones, and it's like, hey, it's the guy from Elf. He's the South Pole elf. He must be a South Pole elf. Call me Elf one more time. It's just, Christina, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know who you're talking about, yes.
Okay. I mean, he is definitely you know, it's got to be hard going through life being that short. I mean, you know, there's shows on TV, you know, little people shows that just show, you know, all this trouble they go to, like going to hotels or, you know, wherever they go, and stuff you don't even think about. And I'm sure it's also equally tough for people who are really tall.
Okay, but you got to be careful. TLC is known for, and I know I talked about this before, and you know, but TLC is known for their scripted shows. So
sure. I don't watch these shows. My wife is more into all those shows than I am. But I mean, I've seen them just because I've been in the room. She's watched them. But you know, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit that, you know, life has to be tough for them when they're that short.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, what the situations that TLC is putting them through is not something they go through every day. I'm just saying TLC has been known to take advantage of people.
Oh, sure.
Of people, and that's you know, that is just another example.
John and Kate plus 8.
You know, you got that.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of shows that they put out that it's scripted. So you got to be careful.
But you know, probably another favorite for a lot of people is Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow. He's also starring in the new Call of Duty as well. Makes me interested to play that single player campaign.
Caleb, I have a question for you.
Oh, what's that?
Who is Jon Snow?
If you can figure it out, then I will tell you the ending of the show.
Touche.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably it's too much inside baseball, I think. There's so many memorable characters on the show. So many great actors and actresses. Man, and they've had just so many on here. So many amazing deaths on here. You know, it's been you know, it's a good run for a lot of these actors and actresses who are gonna be able to go on and do other things.
The one thing, and I know, and it was prominent during the earlier seasons, and I hope they just don't do it anymore. The one thing they had an issue with was same characters, different actors, and I know a lot of that can be based on, you know, something the actor said, or the actor doesn't want to do it anymore, or, you know, there's so many situations where they want to keep that story going and they need to replace the actor, or maybe the actor just wasn't a fit like they thought they were and they needed to find somebody better. But that definitely was who
are we referring to in Game of Thrones that happened with?
The Daenerys's did I say her name right?
Yeah, Daenerys.
Yeah. Her
she's another great actress.
The guard, he had long and curly, or not long curly, he had long straight hair in the end of I don't know, season 4, maybe season 5, and then come into season 6 or whatever, or season 5, it was a new actor, but it was the same character.
Okay.
The Mountain changed. Was it The Mountain? I think The Mountain changed twice. Who's his brother? It's The Mountain, and then there's, what was his brother? Hound. The Hound. Okay, yeah, it was definitely The Mountain. The Mountain changed actors. He was a different actor in the first 2 seasons or something like that, and then
I have not picked up on those, but I haven't necessarily binge watched them, so.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably something you don't really notice unless if you binge watch, and that's kind of what we were doing with that series anyway. So
yeah, unless some of these characters are like, are you thinking of regard like the Grey Worms, like those type of?
No. It was
earlier than that. Okay.
They went to some city. And they went to a city, and they were having issues, and it was before she had the big army.
Okay, is it the one where the guy urinated on the ground in front of the city? I remember that.
It might have been that guy, but I mean. She went to a city and they were having issues, and then he came in and
Christina's like, what is going on here?
He defended her or something like that, and then he got really close to her and wanted to be part of her guard. You know how she had that old man that was with her?
Yeah, and he got kind of cast off. And
right. So it was the guy that accompanied him as the additional guard. And then
I'll have to go back and look because I don't remember any of this. I don't remember people even talking about it, to be honest.
It was to me, it was very noticeable. But one of the things that I tell people when they ask my opinion about movies and TV shows is that I have a sixth sense or a seventh sense, however you want to call it, about watching that kind of stuff. I was trained to watch TV and movies a certain way because of, my degree. So I see things differently. I notice those little changes. I notice the mic dropping down into the corner of the screen really quick and bouncing back up. And Kristen hates that. My wife hates that so much because we'll be watching a movie or TV show and I go, boom in the shot. And she goes, what? And I'm like, mic in the shot right there. And she goes, where? And I'm like, back it up. And we'll stop the show. We'll back it up, and I'll go, see, right there. And she goes, seriously? I'm like,
marriage killer.
I'm sorry, I can't do it. I mean, it's not my fault. It's a sixth sense that I have. I
think everyone has something like that they have that, it depends on how useful it is, but
and with that, it's like a lot of times when I'm watching movies or TV shows, it's like, man, how did they do that? And I am getting entrapped into the story, but I'm also thinking, whoa, what just happened? How did they do that? And just quick tangent, side note, a prime example of that was the first Paranormal Activity. That budget was $7,000. You know how crazy that budget is for all of those camera tricks that they did? I mean, it was ridiculous. And I was so excited about that movie because I was like, I want to know. How did they do that? And I was going to college at the time. So it was like, there's something we talked about in classes. And it was like, we were trying to analyze and figure it out. And it's like, it doesn't take me away from the story. It doesn't take me away from the movies. It just makes me that more interested in those shows because, I am a filmmaker. I love making movies and TV shows. So, I have that sixth, seventh sense. And I'm proud of it.
Well, so most Game of Thrones seasons have had 10 episodes. Next season, which is not going to premiere until mid-2017, which will be season 7, is only going to have 7 episodes.
When did this past season end?
I think it was in the summer.
That's
yeah.
Maybe slightly
it's their timing that they do. They do like a spring. They normally do like a spring release and like towards the end of summer.
Yeah, and then you have like that 6 to 8 month period where you're like, what else am I gonna watch now?
Yeah, and so, but this, what they're doing for season 7, they're only going to have 7 episodes, and then they're having even fewer on season 8. And I was trying to find the exact number, but I'm not finding it because season 8 will be the last one.
Yeah, no, I mean we talked about this. They know how the ending is going to go, so it's they're winding it down. And I think that's kind of, the transition that HBO is doing into Westworld, or at least that's what I'm hoping. Westworld will be the new Game of Thrones for, 3 or 4 seasons since Game of Thrones is winding down.
But so we'll see what happens with this, and we'll see what happens with how Game of Thrones ends. I'm sure it's going to continue to receive tons of exposure as it continues on. And the nice thing about unlike a video game, that you have a game like Red Dead Redemption that was on like a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Those are something that you can have remakes, you can have backwards compatible for future consoles. But it just doesn't always look right compared to certain games because it's just dated. A lot of times the film industry, because of how mature the film industry is now, we can have stuff that can be enjoyed for a while. I mean, you can go back and look at some of the early Harry Potter films and they could do that better now, but for the most part, those can be still enjoyed. So this is going to be a series I think people are going to enjoy. Not kids, hopefully, but an older audience will be able to enjoy for years to come. Finally, I wanted to talk about Star Trek STD. This is a show that I've been looking forward to seeing it. I don't know about you guys. Christina, what do you think about the show?
I want to see it, but I don't know if I want to pay the CBS streaming thing.
You can at least watch the
pilot.
The pilot. But sadly, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that because CBS has come out and decided to delay the show. We will not be getting Star Trek Discovery, so you have to wait to get your STD on until May, which is a little bit of a delay from January. They're still planning for 13 episodes. The first one to premiere on CBS itself, and then going through their CBS All Access subscription plan, which I still think is a huge mistake. CBS could get tons of ratings if they put this on TV. Wow. Can you imagine? I think it would go over really well. But anyway, Josh, is this on your radar at all?
Nope. I mean, no. Just not. No.
I really hope we might see a Star Wars show. I know a TV show for Star Wars was kicked around a few years ago before Disney bought Star Wars. Yeah, I hope that might come back someday. I know that won't necessarily be on CBS. It'll probably be an ABC thing, but
I think that's a little bit harder to do just because there's so...
Well, it depends on the type of show you do. I mean,
right.
You can say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is hard to do because like a superhero show, but you kind of do a different take on it. So
Lego's doing it, the Star Wars Rebels. It's entertaining.
It's true. We talked about Star Wars Rebels in our other talk as well. So
I think animated is going to be the only Star Wars TV show that's going to be continuing to
probably
happen. I don't think.
We can always dream.
Huh?
We can always dream.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, if they made a Star Wars show, I would hands down watch it. I don't think it's realistic.
So real quick, I want to ask you guys, Christina, what of what we have talked about here, or anything else in your mind that you want to see or you've thought of, what is your most anticipated thing to watch this year?
The new season of Once Upon a Time and the Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2. And I know you didn't talk with us, but I do want to see catch up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and
see the Ghost Rider?
Yeah, I do. I want to see how that's going to work.
Michael says it's really good, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
At least I will. I have to catch up on a season before I get to that. Josh, what about you? What are you most excited about?
Westworld, and we didn't really talk about it, but The Defenders, which is what Netflix is going to be leading into with all of the Marvel shows that they're doing, with Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. So I'm really excited for that.
Should be very interesting. We have a lot of good stuff coming, and probably more through like streaming services. I know Hulu has their own Marvel stuff coming on too. There's so much stuff. There's more content out there than you have time to watch. That's one thing. But
if they go to the binging format, it won't matter because people will have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you watch a show, you get done with it, you start another one, and you eventually get done with that, you start another one. You just spend your entertainment time that way, and it's probably the best way to do it. So awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Christina, starting with you. Thanks for coming back and waiting for our slight delay so I can start this recording with you. Josh, thanks to you too. I just wanted to see you guys can start with you, Christina, if you want to plug anything as we head out.
As in where you can find me?
Yeah, where we can find you. You may be binge watching TV now. I don't know.
No, well, Christina, what's for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. It's only 3 here. It's not quite 4 yet.
I've got pork cooking downstairs in a one of those pressure cookers one of those as seen on TV pressure cookers that does all sorts of stuff. It's slow cooking pork right now. Hope it's good.
Cool. Well, I am Brazen Bell on devices and the Xbox and Facebook,
you have to say and the online.
And online, yeah. Though I've been kind of non-existent lately.
Yeah, I feel the same way there. Life has been busy for me too. Josh, what about you?
Well, I'm going to have Taco Bell tonight probably for dinner.
Okay. Are you trying to win a PlayStation VR or what are you?
No, I just like Taco Bell.
Okay. Well, let me have your code for your box that you're going to buy.
Sure. Let's see, what else? I'm going to be in Sanger later tonight walking the dog, and I know obviously, this won't matter because by the time this comes out, you won't know. But I do Uber, so if you ever see me in the area and you're like, hey, aren't you that guy? I'm be like, yeah, I am that guy, and you can get a hold of me there. But realistically, if you really want to get a hold of me, I'm on the multiplayer under the handle Silent Velcro, all caps. The E's are 3s.
Awesome. Well, I am disappointed because my team is getting destroyed right now. They are not going to win game 1. It does not look like.
Oh, poor Bluebirds.
No, I'm a Texas Ranger fan.
Oh.
Texas Ranger fan. So.
Yeah, I know.
They're losing 7-0. Their star pitcher just got demolished.
This is old news, Caleb. Nobody cares about this. You're probably
they're probably out of the playoffs by the time this airs.
Right now because they probably placed a bet or something, and you're just rubbing it in.
It's sad. So that's where my thoughts are.
You got to talk in the future, man. Texas winning, that was awesome. That was just great.
I think we have our own curse. Baseball's all about curses. Texas has its own special curse. I'm not sure what baseball god they did something to, but they've angered some baseball god. It's in the postseason. They have issues. So anyway, that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. So thank you guys for joining us again.
Thank you.
And we hope to have you on the show soon.
That's the